This is my tiny island, and it is the only piece of land in this entire world. My goal here is to survive 100 days and build the greatest island paradise you've ever seen. But all of this starts on day 1. Oh, this is small. Let's start off our streak of deforestation early by punching down this bad boy. And the only jungle log we have on the island, which we got nothing from, make a wee little table that crafts things, and then make this pinnacle of modern engineering. But can't let the ops see me wielding a wooden pick, so let's immediately replace that with some stone tools. Still no saplings from you, no? Motherfucker. I saw these 2 chickens having the time of their life, expressing joy with freedom and all that nonsense, so I had to put a stop to it. You can live in the pit or not at all. I then realized that food was going to be a massive problem for us, so I took all the seeds on our island and started our first little crop farm. You know, so we don't starve to death immediately. Things were feeling a little toasty up here, being the fact that I am on a tiny desert island in the sweltering heat. So I decided to go down to the temple thingy beside our island and got some coal, an enchantment book, and some wheat. On day 2, I was already getting cabin fever, so I took this turtle named Pooji away for some unpaid labor. We started exploring the oceans to try and find some shipwrecks. Okay, I'm pretty sure everyone knows this trick, but if you place a door down underwater, boom, air pocket. Life hack. I found 2 shipwrecks and some iron and some lapis and stuff. This might not seem like a lot, but iron is huge this early on. We also found this, a treasure map. Hopefully we can get our first diamonds out of this. I also found this ruined portal, but I couldn't find the chest and got scared that I was going to drown, so I swam away like a coward. I'm sorry you had to see that. I actually have no idea how to follow these. Is it this way? Oh, it's our island. What? Should be around here somewhere, maybe? I then started excavating the ocean floor to try and find this singular chest that, to be honest, I was starting to gaslight myself into thinking might not even be real. I am genuinely tweaking. I've been looking for this chest for like 20 minutes now. I found it. Oh! I then went back out onto the open oceans in search of some more ships. Then I found a huge lifesaver. I found potatoes and carrots. I think it's time we start our first island expansion. By the end of this video, the island's going to be massive, so we might as well start now. Or maybe it won't be massive. I don't know. I haven't recorded that yet. Then these things spawned, and man, these were the bane of my existence. A baby drowned with a trident has to be the most terrifying thing I think I've ever seen. What is that? Nighttime is going to be a massive pain, so we need to try and get as much string as possible so we can make a bed. Because I don't know how much more of this I can take. I honestly have no idea how I want this to look just yet. I'm sort of just kind of placing blocks and hoping for the best. Okay, look at this little trick. If I get some dirt and some gravel, I can make some coarse dirt, and I've actually doubled the amount of dirt I had. Using this is going to make expanding our island so much easier, you have no idea. Then I can just hoe all of it back to dirt. I'm going to sail away from the island and come back a few times, because it might make spiders spawn more. You know, like it might force them to spawn. Boom, there they are. And we can finally sleep. On day 6, I decided to make this little expansion we have into a farm. I also want to make some stone walls, but I don't have any silk touch yet. So we're going to make a few furnaces like so and turn all this cobble into stone. Now I can start placing the markings of the wall at the front. I just know for a fact that this chicken pit is going to be huge soon, and I'm so here for it. The next day, I started moving everything into our new farm in hopes to not die of starvation. I also finished building up the walls at the front. Do these add any protection? No. Do I like them? I don't know how big this island's gonna get in the end. Like, with 100 days, I have about roughly 30 hours of playtime, which sounds like a lot, right? But considering I'm kind of getting set up at the same time as playing, it's honestly not that much time. I expanded the farm as much as possible until my trusty hoe let me down, and decided to take it up a notch and do some really fun jobs, like jumping on farmland until it turned back into dirt. I'm having a blast. Can't you tell? I didn't do much on day 8, except for try to snipe this guy and miss 3 times. I then retired my bow because I was slightly embarrassed. I did find this fella down here under my island, and it looks like he's been stealing my dirt and placing it down here like a scoundrel. I didn't really like the vibe he gave off. I wonder what happened to him actually. But that's enough fun for today, so let's get back into the underwater caves surrounding our home and get some more coal. I probably don't need to show this in the video, but I just thought it was funny. Look at me struggle to make an axe. Like actual brain malfunctions here. Day 9, I stripped these trees of everything they hold dear and then cut them down. The goal was to make this sick looking custom tree in the middle of our farm. to add some ambience or something like that. I had to replenish our only spruce supply, so back into the dark, icy oceans I go to try and tear down more of this shipwreck. I then did something that was insane. I farmed some more. Isn't it intense? We are now a 10th of the way through our series, and to celebrate, I went back onto the ocean to look for some more shipwrecks, hoping to find some more stuff to steal. I did find these coastal armor trims, which are pretty cool, and some moss. I love moss. This is going to be awesome. On the morning of day 11, I pushed my cognitive abilities to the limits when I attempted to craft a fence. I collected up some more leaves and built up a second one of our custom trees. I then spent the rest of the day planting more crops on our farm. I also got a cherry blossom sapling from a wandering trader, so you know, new wood type unlocked. The next day, I started digging out a little pond, but that seemed like manual labor, so I decided to recruit this guy and make him do all the work for me. See? Huge brain. I'm making this pond in the hopes that it'll get more passive mobs to spawn, like sheep and cows and stuff, because all we have right now is our chicken pit of eternal suffering. But you know, that kind of gets boring after a while. I waited around to see if anything would happen, but nothing did. So I decided to start building a wall around our farm instead. I worked right through the night, so I took it kind of easy on day 13, planting more crops and harvesting the ones that I've already grown for some food, and finishing off our wall. I also built this dirt thing. I'm not really sure why. I never ended up using it, so let's just put it down as decoration for now, yeah? Day 14, we headed out to find some caves to get some ores going, but nearly every single cave I found was an underwater cave where I had to use the door to breathe every 6 seconds, and I started gaslighting myself into thinking that's all there was in this world until, is this a cave with no water in it I see? No shot. Oh my god, it is. Why is that damage? Oh no, absolutely not. No. After healing up, I decided to face my demons and go back to that side of the cave and clickbait this creeper into blowing up the ops for us. I quickly started getting surrounded and teamed up on, which brought me so close to dying and losing everything that we've worked for so far, like the chicken pit. No, and I wasn't ready to let that go, so I readied my shield, drew my sword, and hid in a pool of water. I'm not proud of it. I then had to face something that would give Philza Vietnam flashbacks, but hey, diamonds. I then nearly died again, so back in the water pool we go. Don't tell anyone you saw this. Day 15, we made our first diamond pickaxe and started getting some obsidian for our pearl and enchantment table later on. We also got our first ender pearl, which is cool, and then ran home at the end of day 15. I somehow lost the footage for day 16, but let me tell you, it was insane. I got like 1,000 diamonds. I won like $1 million. You subscribed and everything. Oh, it was mad. You kind of had to be there though, so let's just move on to day 17. Where on day 17, I smelted up the ores from our mining trip and finally made some diamond armor. I then started making a second smaller island where we're going to be putting our nether portal. I didn't want to make it just like a flat island, so I added some elevation. Sounds like a big word to use here. And once I had a shape that I liked, I headed back down to the mines to get some more cobblestone. Day 18, we started adding some stone walls around our small little nether portal island, which is going to look something like this. Our island is already starting to look so cool, don't you think? Oh, it's cool. I like it. I also placed down this little dirt bridge so we can get some grass growing on our new island. I want to throw more bone meal down because grass just makes everything look better, and I will fight you on that. I had to take a break from that though to of course expand our chicken pit. Yo, we got so many out of that. And Enderman dropped a grass block, so I no longer need our dirt bridge. While we wait for the grass to grow over there, we're going to start on our main base of the series, which we're going to do by digging out this area. Oh, these water pools are going to be the bane of my existence, I can already tell. Let's just fill them up and deal with it later. It's not my problem for now. I spent all of day 20 digging out our bunker and the circle thing in the middle. I want to make this middle part into like an aquarium looking thing. It's more of a threat to any fish who want to cause a problem later down the line, but for now, let's just say it's an aquarium. But I wasn't paying attention to my tools because at the end of day 20, my only diamond pickaxe broke, which is really annoying because we don't have a lot of diamonds yet. On the morning of day 21, we built up our nether portal. This is by far the most dangerous thing that we've done in our video. So let's try not die, yeah? Goodbye, Pooji. Remember me. Let's play a little game. What spawn do you think I'm about to get? Is it A, a really good spawn with our nether fortress just in sight and surrounded by useful biomes? Or B, an even better spawn where we spawn in the nether fortress and we can get in and out really quickly? Got your answer? Well, if you guess C, you're right. It was terrible. I spawned in the middle of a lava lake. Like, what? I spent the rest of day 21 and day 22 in the nether walking around until I found the fortress. And then we grinded out all the blaze rods we were going to need. I also nearly died on day 22, but it's no big deal. I was really brave about it. I finished out day 22 by showing these endermen who was in charge and got all the ender pearls we were going to need. I had to fight my way through the nether to get home on day 23, fighting ghast and hiding from piglins. I'm gonna go way more than I'll ever need in ender pearls and blaze rods, but it's fine. On day 24, I started gathering up some coral blocks to start decorating our aquarium. Look how sick this island is looking so far. And we're only a quarter of the way through the series, so we have so much more to go. I spent the rest of day 24 finishing off our aquarium, like putting in some lights and putting in our dead coral, and then filling the whole thing back up with water. I also had to make sure that these kind of blocks were waterlogged. I decided I didn't want to go swimming every time I walked into my base, so I made some white stained glass to put over the top. I kicked off day 25 by catching some tropical fish and a puffer fish, and then dumping them into our aquarium. I saw this squid looking a little bit too jolly for my liking, so you know we had to catch him and put him in the aquarium. Catching him on a lead, I led him back to our island and down into the bunker. Go on, get in. Yo, we have a pet squid. This is so cool. Let's call him Peter. Hello, Peter the squid. I then went mad with power and decided that Peter needed a friend. So I caught another squid. Then we closed up the aquarium and that was it, finished. I spent the rest of the day detailing our nether island and then rounding it all off with some more chicken pit. Day 26, we kicked it up a notch and decided to go looking for the stronghold. I wanted to do this now so we can steal the bookshelves for our enchantment table, because without leather from cows, we currently have no way of getting books. So I followed the eyes of Ender for about 600 blocks until I spotted it out of the corner of my eye. After making our way into the stronghold, I darted to try and find the library. And about 5 minutes or so of searching, boom! Essentially infinite books. Gathering up all of these, I wanted to try and find the portal room just before we left as well. We will come back to this when we're a bit more prepared. Ah, you didn't see that. It was the morning of day 27 by the time we got home, and I went straight to making our enchantment table with all of our bookshelves. I think we're going to stick the enchantment room in this little space down here. So let's count this out, and boom. After pushing these walls back and placing in our bookshelves, I added a few little details around the bunker area, including these bone blocks around the entrance of the enchanting room. And the first proper enchant is efficiency and fortune 2. Not too bad. What about my other stuff? Oh wow, everything is sort of terrible, except prop 4 in our boots. We will take that. I'm also sick of sleeping out in the rain, so on day 28 I started building myself a bedroom. I started off by digging out a space, and I think it would look pretty cool if we had like a 2-story room with like a balcony. There was so much water while digging, so I had to stop and get rid of all of it before we could put our stairs in. Taking a small break from that to grow our chicken pit again, we then started cutting out the balcony down to the bottom floor of the room. With our main pick literally just about to break on day 29, we enchanted a brand new pickaxe getting efficiency, unbreaking, and silk touch. I kind of want efficiency 5 though, so let's backflip down to the nether and mine up some quartz for XP. And boom, efficiency 5. And I spent the rest of day 29 digging out the rest of our room so we actually have somewhere to sleep. I spent day 30 to 32 finishing up our room and decorating it. I added in some stairs and turned all the floor into wooden planks. I also put in some stone bricks to separate the walls from the ceiling just to make it look a bit less weird. I also tried using some copper blocks for once, but I don't have any honeycomb, so I mean if they go green, they go green. It might add to the vibe I'm going here, I guess. I also wanted to include a water feature with a waterfall, because why not? So let's replace these oak planks here with some stone and throw in some moss, and boom, water feature. Man, this place is starting to look so sick. And with that done, I think we've been doing some pretty small stuff so far. So now we are going to start the biggest project of the video so far, which is going to be a huge expansion of the island. But for this, we are going to need a huge amount of dirt. So that's what we started doing during all of day 33, going underneath our island and essentially hollowing out our island from the inside out. Day 34, I spent outlining our expansion of our island and building up some custom terrain. This is going to be used for a project later on in the video. And that's basically what I did for the next few days until day 36. Just placing dirt, and when I ran out of dirt, I'd go back and get some more from under the island, and basically just back and forth doing this until we are left with something like this. On the morning of day 37, I dealt with a trespasser trying to discover my secrets of enchanting. Oh, you thought we were done the island expansion? Don't be ridiculous. I spent all of day 37 and day 38 building up a raised platform so we can build something on top of it later. But on the night of day 38, we got our first massive game changer. Yo, is that a zombie villager? Oh, it is. I forgot all about these. We can actually get villagers now. Capturing the zombie villager in a boat and throwing him in a little box. I realized I don't have any brown mushrooms to make the fermented spider eyes for the weakness potions. So back down to nether we go. Again. On day 39, we finally got the brown mushrooms. Afterwards, I sprinted back to our base to brew up some weakness potions. I also need some golden apples, so back to deforestation it is, until we finally got an apple to drop. I think this is how you do it. Just kind of chuck this at his face and force feed him, don't you? There we go. He's shaking. That's a good thing, right? We'll leave him alone to figure it out. I'm going to put him in a little glass box so I can keep an eye on him for now, for when he changes and stuff. But for now, bedtime. On the morning of day 40, I came up to see that he was a nitwit, and if you don't know what that means, it means he's absolutely useless to me. Like, I can't use him for trading or breeding or anything, so we need to get him killed by a zombie so we can transform him back, and hopefully he'll come out normal. I didn't really do much for the rest of day 40. I pretty much just kind of chilled around my island, talking to myself until it got dark, which is sort of what I do in real life anyway, so, you know, nothing out of the ordinary. But on the night of day 40, we trapped a zombie in with our zombie villager, and he just did nothing. Why aren't you doing anything? But then I found this, a second zombie villager. Okay, we need to trap this guy as quick as possible, because when the sun comes up, he's going to start burning to death. He can stay down there and think about what he's done for now. We'll deal with him later. I ran out of apples because of our last zombie villager, so I spent the morning of day 41 collecting more for some golden apples. But when I went to heal one of our zombie villagers, he was just gone, which is so annoying, but it is what it is. I'm sure another one will spawn soon, and catching one will be a little bit easier because I've made a little zombie catcher thing here. Day 42, I turned our villager into a librarian and grinded out to get mending. I actually spent all of day 42 just breaking lecterns and placing lecterns and breaking lecterns and placing lecterns, all the way into day 43, where we finally got mending. A creeper tried to ruin my day by putting a hole in the island, which wasn't very cash money of him, so I had to patch that up real quick, and then I went and bought a load of mending books. I then put mending onto our fortune pick and went back into the nether to get some quartz, and then spending the rest of the day chopping down trees to get some apples. I forgot to record anything for day 44 except for the end of it when I'm traveling to the end. My bad. But after making our way into the stronghold, we can finally fight the ender dragon. Let's do this. Cut! What's wrong? Okay. That was good. But, Dragon, you take 5 also. Yeah, sure. So, we actually don't have a budget or time for like a full cinematic fight scene thing, okay? Oh, okay. I mean, we can still do like a regular dragon fight, but add sound effects and stuff, right? Yeah, that's a great idea. Except we can't do sound effects either. Nom 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 nom. Ding. Okay, what noise does a dragon make? Ah! Oh my god, I nearly died. Big explosions. Ah! After the dragon fight, we spent all of day 46 in the end going to find end cities. And finally getting an elytra. Look at us go, we have wings. That's a wing noise. I spent the rest of the day looting end cities, gathering armor, tools, and diamonds, which we took home with us along with our XP and started enchanting up some of our gear. I spent most of day 47 mixing our armor enchants together to get some god gear. I started mining out a new part of our base, but when I went up to get torches, I found these guys. Hello? We genuinely need these guys for our project later on in the video, so this is amazing. Let's get up some fences and make a little pen for our new friends. I then made a very stupid mistake and broke a block to get one of our sheep out of the chicken pit, and oh no, what did I do? Oh no. Okay, whatever, we'll clean it up later on. Come with me, and you come with me as well. Don't think I didn't see you. Day 48, we started our first big project on the island. But to kick that off, we're going to have to head back into the caves and look for some tuff. What do we need so much tuff for, you ask? Very rudely, actually. It's a volcano, and it's going to be so cool and so awesome, and you're going to love it. So I found these pretty big looking tuff veins. I think we're going to need a little bit more than what's here, but it's a good start. So let's get these mined out first. Oh, hello. I'm actually pretty sure this is the first spawn we found in this world. Golden apple, thank you. That's pretty sick. We'll save this and come back to it later on. We might use that. I spent the rest of day 49 and day 50 mining some tuff, and slowly losing any resemblance of sandy I had left. Isn't that swell? Hey, look at this loser. You are going to be my new farmer. And I kept my promise on that. After healing him, we threw a composter down in his face and made him into a pretty good farmer, actually. You'll never guess what I did on day 52. That's right. More tuff, baby. A lot more tough. On day 53, I was forced out of my dwarf life because I had to mend my pickaxe. So I collected up some crops and traded with the farmer for some XP. Here's a little aerial shot I took of our island, looking beautiful. I think we're going to have the volcano over in this little corner here. The next day, we ventured back down to the nether to get some basalt and some blackstone. After spending the whole day doing that, on day 55, we finally started the base of the volcano. I know this is very quick for you guys, but man, even starting this process on the island took forever. Building the base of the volcano brought us right to day 56, where we stayed up at night to try and mend our tools for more mining, because we have a lot of it ahead of us. I spent day 57 mining deep slate for the middle of our volcano, and then I spent the whole day building. It was nice to just put on a podcast and just place blocks for a while, you know? I could just switch my brain off. It's not something I really do very often, and man, it was a nice refresher. And I got so carried away placing blocks that day 58 had come and gone before I even realized. So, day 59, we saved another zombie villager and made him into a Fletcher. Because come on, trading sticks for emeralds is an insane deal. I also fell into the pit of immediate death because what is this? Actually barely made it out of that alive. Anyway, time for more mining. Day 60, we finished off the volcano and then went to the back of our island to fill in this cliff face we made earlier, which turned out so cool. Look at that. Oh my god. I want to gather up a load of this hay and make it into hay bales for the volcano. Some of you might know what I'm doing here, but if you don't, just hang on, you'll understand soon, I promise. I also want to put in some of these campfires to give a smoke effect under the lava. It will give it the effect that it's actually hot, you know? The next day, we made up some buckets and started the absolutely horrible job of going back and forth to the nether, filling up buckets of lava and putting them in the volcano. This was the worst thing I've ever had to do, and I never want to do it again. It was so painfully boring. But that's what I did for all of day 62 and day 63. Just placing lava, and when I ran out, go back to the nether and get some more and then repeat. I also did these little side pockets of lava with little lava falls coming down as well, which look so cool. Look how sick this looks. Oh, you see the way some of the smoke is higher than like the rest of it? That's because of our hay bales from earlier. You see, the more you know. Day 64, we started making a box for our villagers. This is going to be a not so temporary villager breeder. I had plans to make a proper one, but honestly they just ended up living in the box. I then threw a load of potatoes and carrots into the villagers and let them do their thing. While they were getting busy on day 65, we started expanding our base, because I have spent 65 days basically living out of these chests up here, and it's just not good enough, you know? I'm sick of it. So we took some time on day 65 and day 66 to mine out an area to turn it into a bigger storage room, so we can store all the blocks we're going to need for some future projects. The next day, we started taking all the items out of our old storage system and dividing them up into their new chests, and actually labeling things for once so I can find them. Amazing concept, am I right? I got a cat the next day, and look at him. His name is Chewy, and he's amazing. Kind of weird eyes though, but you know, we love him anyway. I hadn't finished transferring everything over yet, so I spent the rest of the day moving all of our items into the new storage system. I also made an item frame and hung up our first pickaxe that we made way back on day 1. Little throwback to the start of the video there. We put the finishing touches into our storage room like these lights, and then put our dragon egg in the middle of the volcano. I don't know why, it just felt like this should be where a dragon egg lives, you know? It was also raining, so I piled up to get snow for some snow golems, and then realized that's not how that works. So I had to shamefully break our tower back down. I'm sorry you had to see that. I then switched strategies and went to find a frozen ocean biome, because they have those spike thingies. You know what I'm talking about. I also had a singular brainwave and realized I can fly now. I felt kind of stupid for a second. So off we go to try and find these ice spikes, which I hope actually spawn in this world because I'm not too sure if they do. Kind of just guessing. And I guess right. Boom! Look at these things. So let's collect up some of these and bail. We finally made a home to our beautiful island. Look at that. Oh my god. But while replenishing our wood supplies, this happened. Excuse me? Bro, did Chewie just suffocate in a pumpkin? What? Damn. Rip Chewie, bro. You live for an hour. I think it's about time we move on to our next big project, don't you? This one is going to be up on the hill that we built ages ago, and it's going to look over our entire island. So let's start collecting up everything we're going to need for this. While he's doing that, I just want to show you the notes that I took for this because I think they're funny. I was tweaking while getting these blocks, man. What the hell? I was so angry. I have everything else blurred out because obviously I don't want to spoil it for you. But our block collecting escapades. But our block collecting escapades. Why is that so hard to say? Bro, I was right to day 75, baby, where we started building up our new build, which is gonna be, drum roll please. Let me move the mic down. A windmill. Wow, that's so anticlimactic. I think here is going to be the perfect spot for it. So after expanding our totally humane chicken farm even more, I finally started working on our windmill. When I tell you, I spent like an hour in creative mode trying to design these fins for the windmill, man. I just couldn't get them down at first. But I think this design I came up with looks sick. But we aren't finished just yet because the windmill on its own looks a little bit out of place. So I built up these little side rooms. One of them is where the person who runs the windmill is going to live. And the other is like a workshop type area thing. And then more chicken pit. I spent all of day 78 collecting blocks for the interior of our windmill. And I got really carried away with this, but trust me, it'll look so good when it's done. On day 80, we put the finishing touches on our interior. Like this stack of logs here, and then adding some fences as windows. I am so happy with how this interior came out. We have our little 2-floor things going on, our extra hay, our crane transporting them up, and a load of little decorations scattered around the place. The next day, I broke one of Minecraft's unwritten rules. I made a diamond hoe. I know, I'm sorry, but we need it for the area around our windmill. Speaking of which, we actually need a way to get up here. So let's start putting in a coaster path to lead up to the top of the hill. This was a bit of a challenge because I had to make it look natural, but also work. And the hill gets pretty steep at stages, so I had to split it up with these little platform thingies. Day 82, I started surrounding the whole windmill with wheat fields. Well, because it needs the wheat from somewhere, you know? I also planted some trees to add a bit more foliage and not just have yellow fields everywhere. Day 83 was pretty much the same, just planting more wheat and slowly making our way down the hill. I wanted to bring the wheat fields right down to the end of the hill, so I built up some more stone walls to separate it from the rest of the island. I spent all of day 84 filling the rest of our wheat fields and finished off our farm for the windmill. I also want to throw a few lights down so mobs don't trample all over our crops. But apart from that, man, this place looks awesome. On the morning of day 85, I had to move this beehive over because we're going to be doing a lot of terraforming in this area now. Let's just stick this guy over here for now. And let's jump back into the mines quickly to grab some more stone. So we can start off expanding our cliff face up here. The idea is I want to have like a waterfall coming down from the cliff. And that leads into a custom river that cuts through the entire island. I think this should be wide enough here, potentially. So let's push this wall back a bit and we can start marking out the layout for our river. I had to raise up this part of the land a bit because I didn't want the river just flowing down and then back up again. That's not how physics work. And I want to leave this little part open for a connecting pond later on. I also had to move the chicken pit over because it was in the way, but it's okay because we're expanding it. The chicken pit gets ever larger. So let's lead all of these guys into their new and improved hole in the ground. Now we can bang out the rest of this river in a time lapse. Excuse me? Why is there so many zombies? But on the bright side, killing them gave me enough XP to finally put Aqua Infinity on my helmet. Probably a bit late considering it is day 88, but you know, better late than never. Man, just look at that for a second. I'm genuinely shocked with how well this is turning out so far. And the cherry blossom tree also just ties the whole scene together a bit more. It is so cool. I want to get a quick screenshot of that. But we're not quite finished the river just yet because I need to connect this part to the ocean. And we can throw in a boulder here just beside the river for a bit of decoration. I low-key used all the blocks I had for the other side, so I'm kind of just using what I have left. Day 89, I finally put mending on my helmet. Man, I spent way too long decorating this river. But look how cool this looks. Our island is really starting to come together now, and it looks amazing. Considering what we started off on day 1, we've made some stupidly good progress in a very short amount of time. We then bridged over to the new part of our island, and I started getting more wood for our final project, which is going to be a dock/fishing village. And we can get started on that by marking out our docks with some planks, and then do some more deforestation because we are going to need a lot of wood for this. This extra little water pool here was supposed to be for getting more passive mobs to spawn. It never worked, so we're just going to cover it up. See this? This is what real food looks like, chickens. Here you go. Psych! More chickens! Ah! I think I lost my mind at the end of day 90 because I spent like a good 5 minutes just chasing this cat around for some reason. Not sure why. Day 91, I traveled back into the nether to collect up some bone blocks. Then coming back up to finish collecting all the wood we're going to need for this. This is the last time, I promise. Day 92, I finished collecting all the blocks for the village like stone, andesite, and deep slate. But when I went to trade with my villagers to mend my pickaxe, I found out a zombie had somehow gotten into them and turned all of them into zombie villagers. I was not happy. So I had to try and separate them all and then heal them individually, because if one transformed faster than the others, they would just kill them again, you know? After getting them all transformed back into villagers, I mended up my pickaxes and then went back to getting deep slate. Day 93, we got some clay to make some bricks, and I headed back to one of the shipwrecks to steal some of the spruce trapdoors, because we're going to need a few of these for these buildings. We only have 6 days left, so we need to speed things up. This should be everything we'll need for our little village. We're going to kick this off by building up this sick looking blacksmith. This is going to be the center building in our village. We're going to throw in this little furnace thingy here at the back. Then we're going to throw in some more decorations like lanterns, chains, and an anvil and stuff, to give this place a little bit more character and life to it. And I think this is looking pretty good. I spent the next few days building up 2 more houses in the village, extend the path down, and building this little storage shed to the side, and then littering some decorations around the place to make it look like it's a working docks. I also ran the path down to our little base of operations beside the lake too. With only 1 day left to go on our island, I planted in some more trees around to replenish our deforestation sprees, and I started designing up some boats to set at our docks. And we could throw in some barrels in here because these boats are about to set off to transfer things to different islands, and then put some down here for good luck. And on day 100, we put in the final details of the fishing village. I don't think there's anything else to do. Like, our fishing village looks pretty cool. Our windmill looks even cooler. And oh man, I really love all the small little decorations we've done around the place. And for the last time in this world, let's do the chicken pen. And we have so many eggs. That's a lot of chickens, but you know what? We'll leave it there. I was going to kill them, but I don't think I can. We have so many chickens in there. I think it'd just be rude to. With our waterfall and all down here, and even our volcano up here, man, this looks so sick. And all in 100 days. We did so much in 100 days. But yeah, that's pretty much it.